This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, it seems two people are still missing. Is it, Anshuman?
So Manoj and Dheeraj are left, so I'm trying to contact them.
Okay. Okay, guys. So you guys had your first set of assignments and quizzes actually. I'm sure you guys have gotten the results as well. Did you find the quiz little interesting? The questions were not difficult, I suppose, or were they? Aditya, how come you have not done this?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Aditya.
Sir, I will do it in next 2 days. Actually, yesterday
Next 2 days, is
Hello,
it?
sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Why, Aditya? You normally do everything.
Actually, sir, I'm right now I'm covering the last videos which I was not present from last 2 lectures,
Acha.
so that's
I
yes.
mean, how much time does it take? Surya, how about you? You normally don't miss the class. You don't miss the assignment, Surya?
Hello.
Yeah, Surya.
Sir, I was actually having my papers from last week till I just finished with my papers today. I have completed 6 parts of that assignment. I'll be doing
Hmm.
that like for the next class. In the next class, I will submit it. I've done the 6 parts out of 10, I guess.
Okay. Dheeraj and Manoj, what's going on? What is the issue? Do you want some extra help? I can give you some extra help in that, doing the assignments. Manoj, Dheeraj, you not submitted any of the assignments actually, any of the cases actually. Dheeraj, are you there? Dheeraj, are you there? Dheeraj, can you hear me, Dheeraj? At least say yes, no. Anshuman, talk to him. Okay, see what is the issue. Okay. So what issues? Any quick thing that you guys want me to discuss before we get started with the um, materials? Yeah, Mehul, tell me please. I like the doubts. Doubts on what? Okay. Mehul, tell me, which assignment should I start with? Should I start with let's do one by one then, okay? So I had given you guys last week a few things. So first, I think, did we discuss the steps to import the large table? Did we discuss that in the class? Yeah, we did, right? Acha, okay. ठीक है. So we did that. Now, Shreya is asking, list the students who scored lesser among the same name students. Okay, okay. Scored lesser among the same name students. Okay, there was a question on mid function. Okay, ठीक है. We did text functions as well, right? Last time, guys? Yeah. Okay. So in the last class, we also did exist, not exist. We did text functions, right? And I'd asked you guys to read up on joins, right? Or did we do joins? No, we did not do joins. I had asked you to read up on joins. ठीक है. So I'm going to open exercises one by one and then we will go through them. Grouping, any questions from this? Any questions from this? I know we discussed that this is difficult to do with MySQL, but after that, I think we had done all of that. There was one question that I recently added. I don't know if you guys have this question or not. Please refer to the table below as reference and do the questions listed as 1 and 2, right? Higher of M-test and P-test for each student. So Kushal has scored. Yeah, so just take a screenshot of this question, okay? Just take a screenshot of this question, 12th question I'm talking about. I don't think you guys have it. Just take a print screen and try to do this question higher of M-test and P-test for each student. So that means for Kaushal, we want to show, so outcome that we want to see is, if it is Kaushal, right? What has he scored more on? Has he scored more on M-test or P-test, right? So suppose this guy has scored more on P-test, so it's 96. And for Prateek, he'll show 99. Does make sense? So this is what we want to show. Higher of M-test and P-test, like this. Among the higher values, among these two higher values, among these two students, find the highest scorer. Among the higher values, 96, 99, find the highest scorer. Who's going to be highest scorer in the between these two guys? Right? So how would you find? So do you want to give it a try at home? So give it a try at home, and then probably tomorrow we can have a discussion on this. Okay? Clear, guys?
Hello.
Yeah, Surya.
Sir, can you please discuss the eighth question, like the 10% scoring girls? It is also
We
there in the
discussed.
assignment.
Yeah, I know, but we discussed, right? It'll be difficult to do it in MySQL because there is no top 10 percent thing here, and in order to do this here,
So, like, what this question means exactly?
oh,
Like,
what does it mean? I'll show you. I mean, in Access, I'll open it because in
oh,
Microsoft SQL Server, I mean, in Microsoft Queries, we have. Right. So we get these students. Now, how many students are there? 5 students, right? Five, sorry, females are there. Now, among these 5 females, what is the 10% of 5? So 0.5, right? So we want to show the top one. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
yes, sir.
So top here, it's very convenient. We just write top 10% and it'll show it. What it'll do is that it'll first find out the number of students who are there in this query, and they'll give you 10% of that, and it'll round it up to the nearest whole number.
Okay. Like, what I was doing was summing, like, calculating the average of all the marks of the females which we got, and then top 10% of that.
No, but how did you do it?
So, like, I calculated the sum, and then in the where clause, I used point 0.9 into that sum, where marks are greater than point 0.9 into that sum.
Do you have that query?
Okay, I will find it.
Okay. What Sandeep has done, probably we can give it a try. No, no, Surya, this is not the interpretation of this question. No, this is not the interpretation. What you have done is that this, what Sandeep has done sounds like a, like something which is kind of doable. So what he has done is that first he's found, so let me do step by step. Huh? So first what he has done is that he's gotten the, So this gives you the females, right, and their row number, right? So the total row number that we have here is 5, right? Total row numbers that we have here is 5. So again, and then what he has done is that he's put a count here saying that row number should be equals to round off. That means whatever is the why do you have to do Sandeep?
So
Why have you done row number equals to?
because I have written it's an alias for this column. Row number, the R number, it is an alias. So I was checking the row number should
Acha.
be equal to 0.5. Like if it is 0.1, 0.10% is going to be, if it is going to be 2, then it will print the second row.
So this points 1 into count star will give you the total number of rows. Count star will give you total number of rows. 0.1 of that, and round it up to round this whole thing up to 0 decimal place, right? Select star.
I think, but it will give wrong answer if we
Yeah,
increase
because
the
you know
percentage.
it's
Yes,
yeah.
I got it.
Are you getting a point?
It is only going to print that row only. Like here it is coming 1, so it is printing 1. If the 10% is going to be 2, then it will print
2,
the
then
second row
yeah,
only.
that's what I'm thinking, because if you write 2 here, then give you whatever, 5 here.
5.
Yeah. 30% of 1.5, so 2, right? I mean, whatever. I mean, the idea is that if you write 2 here, you'll print that only, right? So that's why
Right.
it's not for
Not the right.
10%. Yeah, it's not the right thing. I mean, it can be right. It can be right if you
It
just do
less
it
than or
simple
equal
tweak.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, can be right. This will work, right? What's the issue in this? Because even if it gives 2, right, it'll give you the top 10%. Yeah, I think this will work.
Right. 40%. Sorry, 40% will be 2.
Yeah. But why is it not coming? Count star is 5. Why is it coming always this? This is coming always. Sandeep, do you see the issue that we are getting into? It's not coming for
Even
all.
even I'm not getting it.
Okay, I'm going to talk about, so we'll come back to this question, okay, in MySQL, when we talk about something called as user-defined variables. That's something that we'll discuss this week. User-defined variables in MySQL. That's also a very powerful way of writing query in MySQL, okay? User-defined variable. We'll talk about that, and this is when we'll come back to this question, and then we'll try and attack that question from that, using that. Alokesh, why I'm saying that it should be less than equals to and not just less than or not just equals to. If you see, the intention was that count star would have given you the total number of rows in this particular inner table, right? In this TT table, total number of rows in this TT table. I get a point. So total number of rows is, let's say, 5, which it is actually. So 5, so 0.1 into 5, so which is like 10% of 5, would have been 0.5, right? And round will round it up to the nearest decimal. Let me, instead of round, if I use sealing function. Sealing also gives you, it always rounds it up. Okay, seal rounds it up. So this will give you 1, right? So this is less than equals to 1. Now the intention here was that if you're doing 20%, say for example here, if I remove this, set to F, and if I do 0.1, so again, it's basically giving you so that's what, we'll come back to this thing, because the idea is that 10% of the number of rows here, you try to remove. Nay, it will work, but that's not right? If you remove count star, what would happen is, it's like saying is less than equals to 1. But then you got to know, right, Surya, how much is the total here? What is the total number of rows here? You wrote max of row number here.
So I wrote max of row number, like we had written 0.1 into count star, right? I wrote
Uh,
0.1 into max of row number. It is again not working.
It's not working, right?
Let me.
We'll come to it. Don't worry. We'll come back to this question. Just trying something. Shreya, good question, but I'll tell you the reason why we can't use limit here. So see, I mean, user-defined variable, right? That thing that I was talking about. So this is a user-defined variable. What we have done here is we've defined a we've defined a variable, okay, which is called as row index, and we have assigned a value to this row index as 0. Okay, so I'll explain you user-defined variable since we're talking about it, and this is going to be important. So user-defined variables in MySQL, okay, and its application. So sometimes what you want to do is that you want to pass a value from an SQL statement to another SQL statement, from an SQL statement to another SQL statement. To do this, you store the value in a MySQL user-defined variable. And how does a user-defined variable look like in MySQL? So it looks like this. Like in Python as well, you have variables, right? I'm sure you guys have used variables in Python. Like, for tuple, you define it as a name, or you give array a name as well, right? And you manipulate that array, right? So similarly here, what we have done with this set is set at the rate row index. So at the rate row index becomes the user defined variable. This is a variable that we are defining. And what is this colon equals to means? Colon equals to basically means that we are assigning a value. And what value are we assigning to this user defined variable? We are assigning 0 to this row index. Do you see what I'm trying to talk about? What I'm trying to say? So what I'm saying here is that we are assigning a 0 value to row index, user defined variable. This row index is just a name that we have defined it, just a variable that we have defined it, right? So what is the value for row index right now? 0. Now we will use this row index inside this query. Okay, in fact we don't even need this. Look at this inner query, huh? From student where access to F, order by MTest descended, right? So female students ordered by MTest column in descending order. Full name MTest, row index. So this is right now 0. This is right now 0. Assigned to. What is the value that we are assigning to this row index now? At the rate row index plus 1. So that means once this inner query has run completely, this row index would increase by. So if I know that there are 5 rows in this particular query. Which query? There are 5 rows. In this query, so if you notice, there are 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? There are 5 females in the student table. Are we clear, guys? Now, what we are doing is, so by the end of this, this table, what would happen? What would be the row index value, guys? We have set it to 0, right? To start with. It would become 5. Sandeep, you are right. Are you all clear what the row index will increase to? 5. Sai, Prashant, yeah. So as TT, because we have used it inside the table, inside inside a query. Now what we have said here is that having row number less than equals to, you can use having or you can use where also, that will also work. Where row number is yeah, we need row number also. Yeah, it's like rolling sum. We will need row number also. So row number over order by MTest descendant. So then we don't need this order. As no, right? So where this I will explain. I will explain it. Don't worry. I mean, I know that's the reason why I was like, okay, I'll delay it. But since we were deep into this concept, so I thought I would just talk about this. Let me run it and then I'll explain it. So I've set it to 0. Now what we are saying here is that where row number should be less than equals to the ceiling of 0.4 or 0.1 of row index. 0.4 meaning 40% of the total number of females in the student table. 40% would mean 2 females of 5, right? So this is going to show you then the first 2 females, right? So it shows you first 2 females. Do you see this? Sandeep, did you get this?
No, I'm trying.
Okay, I will explain again. Okay, so just look at this query, inside query. Just be with me on the inside query, Mehul. What we have done here is from the student table where says to F, female students from from student table, full name MTest, and then row index. Row index we have set it to 0, right? This is user defined variable. We are using this variable inside the query, Mehul. Are you clear what I'm trying to say here? We are using this query inside. In fact, let me just take a one step back. I know why you guys are getting little this thing about this user defined variable. Let's say if I write max score equals to 90. Okay, what I have done is, what have I done here? I have created a user defined variable called as max score, and if I run it, right, so this is 90. Now if I run a simple query from student where MTest is less than equals to max score, look at this query. What do you think will be the output here? So from the student, it'll show you all those students who have scored less than equals to what value? less than equals to 90. Is everybody with me? Dheeraj, who has not been responding, are you with me? Gokul? Yeah? I don't want anybody to be silent, okay, guys? If you don't tell me you do not understand something, then I will not get a dream about it, okay? So feel free to tell me, okay? Now, Dheeraj has, I think, sworn that he would not respond in the class. Dheeraj bhai, can you hear me? Not surprising. Yeah, it's like assigning a value. So you assigned 90. Sorry. One thing I had not done is that I had not used an assignment operator. The assignment operator to assign a user-defined variable is colon equals to. Colon equals to. So how does a variable look like? At the rate variable name. And how to assign the value? Colon equals to is called as an assignment operator. So set variable colon equals to value. Are you getting the point? Clear, guys? So now if I set it, right? So we have set this. Now if I run this statement, we will get full name mtest of those folks who have scored less than equals to 90. Are we all clear with, are we all with me? Now we are using the same capability that we just spoke about here. What we have done here is that we have set the row index as 0. It's a user defined variable at the rate row index assignment operator, say colon equals to 0, right? Now what we are doing in the inner query is, forget, I'll just copy this inner query, huh? Forget about this subquery thing. Just look at this query. From student, where structure do f, right? Full name mtest. Now at the rate row index assignment operator row index plus 1. That means for every row of this table, this row index will increase by 1, and we are storing this as our index here. And row number will also show you the same thing, isn't it? In fact, we don't need our number then. Why do we need our number? We don't need our number. This can, because our index is obviously there. Now, acha, by the way, now why is it showing 6, 7, 8 now? Earlier it was showing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any idea? Cos plus 1, right? Because we have increased it by plus 1 here, right? The last value was 5, right? So again we'll have to set it. So I'll come here, reset this. So set row index to 0, and when I run this statement now, so it'll be right. Got it, guys? Now here, if I order the data by mtest in descending, and then again I'll first set it, then I run it. So the first one will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you all agree with me on this? Yeah. Again I'll set it. Now out of this, we want those folks, if you're looking for top 10%, that means if there are 5 rows here, if there were 50 rows, we would have gotten 5 rows, the top 5 rows, right? But here there are 5 rows only, so we'll get 10% of 5 rows, which is 0.5, and round it up to the nearest whole number, which is 1. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Got it? So now I go back to this query Let me first reset it. I come back to this query here where I've written from students X to F, and then I'll write order by mtest descending. I'll just remove this thing here. So from students X to F, order by mtest descending as stable. And here we have done row index assigned to row index plus 1. The first value of row index was 0 and then plus 1, right? So the first one gets the first row here, that means the topper gets 1, then the next one gets 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then we said the R number, instead of R number we'll write as R index. R index should be less than equals to this thing. Do you all agree? You didn't get the last step, this step, this step. If you're looking for 10%, then what would you do? 10% of the number of rows here. So this row index is now showing the number of rows, right? No, row index will not be 6 actually. Row index will be 5, Prajwal. We are starting with 0, Prajwal. Remember, we are starting with 0, Prajwal. So here, why we have multiplied by 0.1, Taha? Because we want 10% of the row index. And what ceiling function does is that ceiling is like round only. The only difference between ceiling and round is that round will round it up to the nearest decimal, nearest whole number. Whether it is, if the value is less than 0.5, then it will round it up to the lower value. If the value is more than equals to 0.5, then it will round it up to the higher value, right? Whereas ceiling, what it does is that, Gokul, ceiling will always round it up. Even if it's 0.25, it'll always give you 1. Just to show you ceiling, suppose if I write ceil of 0.11, ceil of 0.11 will also give you 1. And similarly, we have floor. 0.99 of floor will also give you 0. Whereas round of 110 and round of you understand the difference, right? Gokul? Clear? What is the second parameter in round? What is the second parameter in round, everybody? Round, integer, and the decimal places. Number of decimal places, Prajwal. Right? So if you write round of 8.89 comma 1, that means the answer that we will get is Prajwal, what are you guys saying? We'll get 8.9, right? That's right, Prajwal. How will we get 8.8? Gokul, Sandeep, I think doing difficult things made you guys a little dodgy today. 8.89 round if you do, will give you 8.9, right? Ha. So, are we clear here? Did you understand what we are doing here? Row index should be less than equals to 10% of the row index. So then now the row index would have increased to 5. So 10% of 5, which is which is 0.5, and ceiling will convert into 1. So row index, R index should be less than equals to 1 in this case. And if you're looking for 40%, so we'll multiply that by 0.4. So then it will become, oh, okay. So this, we'll have to reset it and rerun it. Then it will be less than equals to 2, right? The user defined variables are session specific. What does it mean? That if I close MySQL Workbench, that means I'm closing the connection or the session with MySQL server. When I close this, then the user defined variable will be reset to whatever, no value. It doesn't carry forward to the next session. Does make sense, guys? It should be less than equals to. Taha, it will not be equals to. If you do equals to, what would happen, Taha, is that it's going to give you only Rupa then. See, it's going to give you only 2. Clear, guys? So I'm going to just give you guys this code also. lower integer value. Got it, guys? I'll give you this note. Okay, great. Give me a second. Okay, great. So you learned a new thing about user-defined variable today, okay, guys? And I'm going to give you an assignment on this user-defined variable to find. Okay, I'm going to give you assignment on this to find uh, median value. This was asked in an interview as well. You guys know what is median, right? So there is no median function. There is an average function in MySQL or in SQL, but there is no median function. So how do we find median? Okay, so you got to find median, and I am not. Yeah, I'm going to put a due date tomorrow. Just one quick question, actually, it's not a big deal. Okay, Now, some questions were there from this exercise as well. I think exercise number 4, which is union text functions. Actually, text functions. Were you guys able to do all of them? Text functions, guys. Text functions. Were you guys able to do all of them? Any question from text functions? Any question from union text functions? Did you find select the students whose name contain a single E? Were you able to do it? Okay. Feel free to ask questions, okay, guys? I mean, it's okay to ask questions. Feel free. In fact, it's important to ask questions. 2 and 3 as well, okay? Parag, second and third. Display the entire name, but the last character of students. So entire name. So suppose if somebody's name is Parag, then we want to display para, right? Or para. Does it make sense? But not the last character, right? So just, but not the last character, meaning not the last character. Yeah, tell me. So display the entire name but the last character. So left, which function can help us find the length, can help us find the total number of characters? -1. Anybody has a question? Right? So length of full name -1 as entire name without last character. So Mary will become Mare. Got it? Wendy will become Wend. Rupa will become Roop. Display the last 2 characters of the student's name. That means if it is Parag, then we want to display A and G. Display the last 2 characters. So write full name, comma 2. Right? Last 2 characters. Very easy. If you have to do the same question using mid, now the mid function has a flexibility that you can assign from which position you want to start the extraction. So if I'm looking for the last 2 characters, then that means I want to start the extraction. Suppose it is Parag. That means I want to start the extraction from the second last character, right? So then it will be the last character we will get using length. This will give me the last character, total length, then -1. So that's the place from where we will start the extraction. And how many characters will we extract, Parag? How many characters will we extract, Parag? See, it says last two characters, right? So this length function will give me what, Parag? Total number of characters, right? So Parag has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will give you 5 characters. So 5 minus 1. So full name, start the extraction. The mid function, the way it works is that this is the text, and this the second argument in the function means the position from where we want to start the extraction. From which position do we want to start the extraction, Parag? From which position do we want to start the extraction? The total number of characters. No, not from the first position, Parag. It says display the last two characters. So what do we want to display here, Parag? We want to start the extraction from the second last, so comma 2. Display the entire name with the last character of students, last character. So if I were to do the question 4th using mid, so mid full name, from which position do you want to start the extraction? Yes, Aditya, it won't work for one letter word. No, if you have to do using mid. So mid, so the length, Prajwal length, right? Length of full name. Oh, sorry. From which position? From first position. And what is the total number of characters? We want to length of full name minus 1. So again, Wendy will come Wend. Got it, guys? I'll post all the scripts, don't worry. Tha is saying, can we find the third question? Can we do it without using length? Display the last two characters of the student's name. Using mid, how will you do that without length? Using mid. In the third question, when we use right, then we don't have to use length. If you see, I did the third question using right. Then in that case, we do not have to use. Or you're talking about fifth question. Do the third question using mid. So display the last two characters of the student's name. So वही तो अभी किया. अच्छा नहीं, we did this one, right? Yeah, we did this, right? This you can't do. How will you do without using length? -2. I don't know. Never tried. -2. I didn't know this actually. Yeah. Negative indexing from the end. Yep. But I don't think all the databases will support this. Suppose I take this. Yeah, all databases will not support it. The negative indexing. So it can be double-edged sword. Yeah, Prajesh, but why do you have to find the, see, when you have extracted Prajesh, yeah, I know in Python negative indexing works, but not all databases will support that. But good that you guys are improvising on the learnings. Prajesh, so Prajesh has done, so we know that we are, so from length -1, right? Length -1 meaning how many characters are remaining, Prajesh? Like in your case, Prajesh, right? So if you look at the first name, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 characters only in Prajesh, right? So 2 characters before. If we come, the total length is 7. If we come 1 character before, so which is 6. So from 6th position, there are only 2 characters remaining, right, Prajesh? 6 and 7. So there's no need to do length here. You can, I mean, length will work, but there's no need to do. There's no need to do that. Question number 6 is easy. Question number 7. Select the names whose name contain a single E. Yeah. 2 is the number of characters it is returning. Select the students whose name contain a single E. Anybody who did this? So single E, look at the approach that we will follow. The approach that we will follow here is locate Prajesh does not give you the number of E's. Prajwal, you're close, but you're not right actually, Prajwal. The reason why you're not right is your query will only work for strings which contain double E together. Yeah, Surya, I mean, your query will work, but I think you just made it a little more complicated than it was required to be. Anybody else who has tried this question singly? Again, Gokul, what locate will do is that locate will only give you the position of E in full name starting from first position. Gokul. So we'll do it in couple of ways, okay? If we talk of single E, oh my God, Lakesh, what you have done is right. However, again, just like Surya, right? I mean, to kill an ant, you brought an elephant. Do you understand what I mean? To kill a soldier, you got a intercontinental ballistic missile. I mean, regular expression and nested in inline queries, and then so it's a lot of work that we're doing for a simple thing. It's actually very simple. Say I tell you, suppose Pine, right? Alokesh's last name, Pine. It contains singly. Now Taha doesn't contain any E's, and let's see. Anyway, I don't think any of you have. And let's say Pratik contains a single E, right? Now, if I say the number of E's, this is 2, this is 1, and this is 0. This is 2, this is 1, this is 0, right? Number of E's. Now, if I say, let's take these names again. Let's replace E with null. What is null? Just a pair of double quotes without any space in it, nothing. Just a pair of double quotes like this, without any space or nothing in it, null string. So Pratik will then become PRATK, Pine will become PYN, and Taha will become Thaha. Do you all agree? Now, this contained 2 E's, this contains single E, this contains 0 E. Now, this one contains 0 E, this contains 0 E, this contains 0 E. Now, 2 minus 0. So, this is the length of the replaced string. Length of the replaced string. What is the length of the replaced string? And this is the length of the original string. The length of the original string is 2. The length of the replaced string is 0. So what is the result? 2 minus 0 is 2. 1 minus 0 is 1. 0 minus 0 is 0. So what we need to find out is, we need to find the total number of E's in the original string, right? I mean, So sorry. Let me do it in Excel properly, okay, so that you can understand. So original string let's say original string is Pratik, Pine, Thaha. So the length of the original string is 7, 4, 5. The replace string where we have replaced E with null will become PRETK. This will become this, and Thaha will remain Thaha. The length of the replace string will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pine will be 3, and Thaha will be 3, 4, 5. Right? So the difference between original minus length of replaced. What is the difference? 7 minus 2. So it's going to be 7 minus 5, sorry. So it's going to be 2, 1, 0. Do you all agree? So if the difference is equals to 1, that means the original string contained singly. If the difference is more than 1, that means the original string contained more than one E. If the difference is equal to 0, that means the original string did not contain any E. So this is the simplest way of doing it. So from student where, in fact, why should I do it? Can you do it now? Alokesh has done it already. Okay, so where length of full name minus length of replace of so length of full name minus replace of full name E with hash, this should be equals to 1. Do you all agree? So see, in my case, it's just this. Replace is case sensitive. So what you should ideally do in that case is, good point, replace is case sensitive to make it lower. Good point, good point. Replace is the only function that is case sensitive text function. So now, you got, so what I've done here is that I've used replace, and under replace I've used lower of full name, right? Lower of full name. That means everything will be first converted into lowercase, then E will be found in it, because we are looking for small case c. Got it, got it, Surya? Now let's look at one more way. Because I saw that some of you guys tried to do using that way as well. It's not exactly a text function, but using pattern matching. So by the way, guys, before I forget, okay, I don't know, I might have told you guys, but there is a nice video that we have put onto YouTube on, you know, a kind of a role play on SQL interview, okay? So it could be a great thing now at this point of time to kind of go through this video. Yeah, so now probably, you know, you'll start making a lot of sense out of this. Yeah, but you know, I'm just saying that probably now is a great time. Maybe earlier might have been a little difficult to understand, but now I think it's a great time. So select from student where full name, like, see, if I write percentage, sorry, not percentage, yeah, sorry, percentage only, percentage E percentage, this means full names containing E, right? Which could contain, it could happen, it could be there for n number of occurrences, right? It doesn't care about the occurrences. But if I write percentage E percentage E percentage E percentage E, then what happens? Percentage E, then what happens, guys? Not consecutive. Two E's containing two E's, two or more E's, in fact, two or more E's. Sorry, percentage also. I forgot the percentage right at the end. So containing two or more E's at any point of time, at any place, anywhere. Not two consecutive E's. Two or more E's. Okay. The same could be achieved using regular expression as well, which is what he was trying to do. I think Alokesh was trying to do a regular expression, and it would be what, guys? How do we write this? E 2, right? But then this means two consecutive ways. Yeah, so this is not really the one that we are actually looking for. So in fact, that like thing, our old equation was better. Got it? So this gives me two E's, but are we looking for names with two E's? No. So we're looking for names which contain, so not like, oh sorry, not like this, but like this. That means contains E, but does not contain two or more E's. You understand this? Full name like percentage E percentage means contains E somewhere, and when we say full name not like percentage E percentage E, percentage E percentage E percentage, which means does not contain two or more E's. Are we all clear, guys? Now the third way is using locate. The approach here will be using locate. The approach will be that we will find the string which contains second E. We'll find the string which contains second E, and we'll also find the strings which contains E. Okay, we know this means what? We are looking for E in full name as first T. So this gives me the position of first T. Do you all understand this? Do you all agree? It gives me the position of first T. Right? Now if you want to find the position of second E, what do? We write locate here in number 1. So where we had written 1, right? What is the meaning of 1 here? 1 means start looking for E from first position in full name, isn't it? So where we have written 1, if you write locate E, comma full name, comma 1. So this gives the position of E plus 1. This string, this function will give me the position of first T. Do you all agree? Plus 1. So this will give me what? Second E, the position of second E. That means start looking for E in full name from which position onwards? From the position of first T plus 1. That means wherever the first E is. So for example, in Peter, the first T is second. So start looking for E, T onwards. Start looking for E, T onwards. Do you all agree? So now tell me, how will I use this? We know this gives us, this entire expression gives us the second E. So where this value is greater than 0, where this value is greater than 0 and this value, sorry, is equal to 0 and this value is greater than 0. That means it contains E. This one will give you the position of first T. It contains first T, but it does not contain second E. This means it should not contain second E. Sandeep, second E is not greater than 0. Second E is not there because we're looking for names which contain a single E. Sandeep. Clear, guys? So 3 different ways of doing the same query. You may want to think about evaluating the performance of these 3 queries. Which one do you think would be the fastest on a larger data set? So think about it. Just give it a thought. Shreya, are you with me? You've been pretty silent today. Rohit? Rohit, are you with me?
Oh, yeah.
Your voice is breaking up badly. No, can't hear you. You can type in if you can. So Prajwal is saying pattern matching will be fastest, and Surya is saying replace one will be the fastest. Surya, why do you think the pattern matching will be replace one will be the fastest, Surya?
In replace one, we are using one operation for a particular name, and in the other two, we are using two operations in the where clause.
In the replace one also we are using, we are using one operation, one here, second function, third function.
Like I calculated, like first is not like, and the second query is like. In that one particular like replace, we have particularly replaced one at a time.
Hmm.
And in locate also, we are using two clauses in where.
So here's the thing, guys. I mean, what happens is, again, give it a thought, a little more thought, right? So in pattern matching, what happens is that for every name, right, it is going to check each and every character and it'll match this pattern across each and every character of that name, right? This also. I get a point. Whereas in replace, what happens is, it's basically first is a very simple function, length of full name, which is just memory bytes that it is taking, which is typically very, very fast. Now in this replace, yes, we are we are lowering the case. Again, it's not about each and every character, but here it's trying to find out if E is there or not, but it's only checking for E singly, right? It's not really changing. It's not as if it is. It's just looking for singly. It's not looking for double E's, or it's not looking for multiple combination of E's. But when you do percentage E, percentage E, percentage, right? So it's looking for variety of percentage. I mean, variety of combination of percentage E's here, right? So this pattern matching will actually take time. In fact, this locate function can also be, probably would also be the second fastest. I want to say almost, yeah. So pattern, this one replace will be fastest, locate will be second fastest, and the third one will be pattern matching. Pattern matching generally is the slowest operation, and within that as well, when you use regular expression, it becomes even slower. Now I want to talk about the next set of questions. So in this questions only. Any questions from union? Did we do union in the last class, guys? We must have, since we did exist, not exist. Yeah. So any questions from union? I know there will be questions from 4th, 5th, and 6th of exist not and 7th of exist not exist. That we will discuss once we have discussed one more concept, which is correlated subquery. Prashant, I understood, right? 4th, 5th, 6th, we will discuss once we have discussed correlated subquery. Exist third one, okay? Any questions from union? Were you guys able to do the 4th question? Students are playing either chess or bridge, but not both. So C minus B union with chess minus bridge union with bridge minus chess, right? So two Nortons unioned. That's right, Prashant. That's right, Rajesh. Yep. All right, let's look at exist, okay? So for exist, the first one says list the names of the boys from district HHM if there exists at least one female in HHM. And exist select star from student where sex is equal to F and B code is equal to HHM. This is pretty straightforward actually. So it'll show all the males from HHM if there exist females in HHM, right? That's how you would read this query, right? Fetch all the students from class 1A if there exists a student class 1A who plays a musical instrument. Were you guys able to do this second question? How would we find who's playing musical instruments in class 1A? So we'll have to use what? We'll have to use in. So from student where class is equals to 1A and ID in, select ID from music. Right? So these are the students from class 1A who are playing musical instrument. That means whose IDs are also there in the music table. Whoa. Gokul, what? Why have you done union all with bridge here? Clear, guys?
Sir, in this particular question, we did not use exist or non-exist, but this query of use.
We will use fetch all the students from class 1A if there exists a student in class 1A who plays musical instrument. So now we will write select ID, full name, class from student where class is equals to 1A and exist do you see this?
Yes, sir.
So this is going to give you all the data from class 1A if there is anybody who's playing musical instrument in class 1A. Got it, Sai?
Yes, sir.
List the students from HHM if everyone has scored more than 80. If everyone has scored more than 80, what does it mean? That means nobody should have scored less than 80. Do you all agree? If everybody should have scored more than 80 in HHM, that means nobody should have scored less than 80, right? Do you all agree with this statement or not? and not exist. That means what we are saying is we want data from HHM if not exist. That means there should not exist any student in HHM who has scored less than 80. That means everybody should have scored more than 80. Do you all agree? Parag, if you try and use exist here, it won't work. Because if you use exist here, right, Parag, which basically means that anybody who has scored, and if you use exist and you'll increase it by greater than 80, that means if anybody has scored more than 80, it'll work. It actually will not work, Prashant. Same thing with you, Prashant. No, this is not correct. Because this means that in HHM, if anybody who has scored more than 80, then this exist will become true, right? Prashant? So you have to look for the severity of the clause. Are we saying that nobody should have scored more than less than 80? Then it does not exist, right? If we are saying that some of them should have scored more than 80, then it is exist. So when we are deciding which one to use between exist and not exist, we have to look at the severity of the condition. If we are saying that the set that we are considering here, the set that we are considering is the students. So if you're saying that none of the students, right? If everybody should have scored more than 80, that means there is a condition that has to be met for each and every row of the student table, right? So it's very severe condition, strict condition. But if we say that, okay, if somebody has scored, if anybody has scored more than 80, then also we are fine. Then it is exist. Does it make sense? Like, it's like Corona, right? If you're saying that we will allow a plane to deboard, that means if you're saying that will allow a plane to deboard in New Delhi International Airport, which has come from, let's say, some other foreign country, only if none of the passenger has COVID. That means everybody should have been tested. In that particular case, what happens is we are going to use not exist, right? Clear, guys? Okay. So today, what we have done, we have just discussed the assignments. I think which is also good, because I had given you guys a lot of things to work upon, and we also discussed something very interesting, which was new also, which is this user-defined variable. Yeah, we are in a place right now. I mean, we are in a situation right now in SQL class where first each and every class is important. Secondly, you got to be vocal if you're not understanding something, and you got to practice. If you're not practicing, then the next set of classes are going to become very difficult. I get a point, because a lot of things are going to be interlinked now, and whatever we are doing now onwards, in fact last class onwards, have all been asked in the interview. Why I spent so much time in these questions and why I showed you all these different ways of doing all these different questions. They all have been asked in some of the other interviews, all of them. Like, how would you find singly, display the last name but the last character. All these have been asked in one or some of the other interviews. Top 10%, all these questions, have been asked. So that is why I really want to make sure, and they are very useful. When you're working as well, they become very useful. So that is why it's very important. Now I know some of the folks have not done case study 3. Some of the folks have not done case 4. I think most of you guys have done. But if you have not done some assignment, please go ahead and do those assignments. And I had given you guys 2 reading assignments. Okay, if you have not read through those reading assignment, I'm going to again request you guys between today and tomorrow, because I'm not giving any additional assignment today. Of course, you want to do that one assignment, which is find the median. That's something that I've given today. But other than that, I'm not giving any other questions. So I really want you guys to read through. If you have not read through already, I want you to read through correlated subquery, which we will cover tomorrow, and joins. Okay, if you have not read through it, please go ahead and oh, okay, you guys have, a lot of you have actually read through it. I didn't check, which is a good thing. Aditya, Bharat has taken a break because he's getting married, so I can't blame him. Nobody else is getting married, right? So do read through this coded subquery, guys, as well. Okay, if you're not, okay, a lot of folks have, but because the next class Bharat is not attending today's class actually. He's requested for a break. Most probably he'll join the next batch. What percentage of topics? Topics wise, we have covered almost 80%, Gokul, but yeah, topics wise we have covered, you can say 80%. But case study wise we have covered only 50%, Gokul. So this week will be more like, yeah, of course, the next class will be conceptual. We'll have a lot of discussion, but after that, it will be more like case studies. And I'm going to give you a couple of projects as well. All right, guys, then I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Good night. Take care. Don't forget to work on those assignments that I gave you. Bye-bye. Good night, guys. Bye, Anshuman.
Bye, sir.